I'm not the best verbally. I usually like to communicate in nonverbal ways, such as music or art. I guess it's those vibrations of those notes that resonate in my body, and then all of a sudden I'm taken to some, really abstract place. And that's why I think everyone plays music, is to get lost in that feeling. Violin was actually my first instrument. My dad is actually a master violinist, a master Persian violinist. My dad always taught me, don't forget that you are playing music. Because the understanding of what the instrument is will aid you to better communicate what you have to say with the instrument. So, for the first 2 years I said no to theory, to the understanding of what each note is, the harmony of it. Then after a while, I started learning a lot more of it. You actually have a greater understanding, which means you can better communicate whatever you want to do with any instrument. I picked up the guitar at age 16, and then there was a guitar sitting on my friend's couch, and I decided to pick it up. Ask him to teach me a couple chords, and then next week I played it a little bit better than him. It was funny, and then he says, well, what'd you do to get so good? I said, I don't know, I'm just playing. But I think a lot of it had to do with playing violin. I had the fingering down a little bit, so I was able to maybe a little quicker be able to get to those fingerings. In 2009, I entered a competition called Guitar Idol, and I was one of the only acoustic guitar players to make it to the top 10, which was a huge deal for me, because this is where I think a lot of Iranians found out about my music as well, because my video had some viral success. And then the year after that, actually, I entered Guitar Idol again, and I got into the top 3. And in some ways, it's good that I didn't get first place, because it made me work harder. It's very important to remember to keep yourself grounded and to never lose sight of what you're meant to do, which is to play music at the end of the day. And music should never be a competition, in my opinion. I play a style called Fingerstyle. This is a traditional approach to guitar using all your fingers on your right hand. So instead of using a plectrum to play, I'm actually using all my fingers as if, like classical or flamenco players would use. Fingerstyle traditionally is played within certain rules, and what I've tried to do is kind of expand a little bit more on that, incorporating like percussion elements to the guitar. So if I'm ever playing, I can do drum or get the tumbak sounds, out of it. So you can make one instrument sound like 3 instruments. So this is just a regular guitar that I'm playing with, just acoustically, and just so I can demonstrate some of the techniques that I use. So if I'm playing, for example, just a chord progression, and I can do this stuff while keeping a drum sound with the guitar, so basically just hitting it on the outside of the guitar. So now, right, so just basically using these elements together just to get a really big sound. And there's some really cool things that you can do. You can play behind the nut. All right, really kind of unusual sounds that you can get with the guitar, and kind of using these in a very musical way will really give it some life, I guess, with the guitar. So far I've released 2 CDs. I just released a new one, and that's called the Lamaze Movement. And Lamaze is actually my last name, Jamal, backwards. There's 12 songs. Every single song is a memory of one time, wherever we may have been at that time.
And this is kind of the memory of...
I've moved to 4 or 5 different countries. I think I stopped counting after a while, but it's very interesting because when you're exposed to that kind of stuff at a very young age, you mature really quickly, and you get a good idea of what your role in life is. The cool thing is that both of my parents always taught me to find my own voice with any arts, because they're both artists, so they understand that idea very well. I've never been to Iran. I wasn't born there, but you know, I've had the culture around me my whole life because of my parents. Even though I don't speak Farsi very well, I understand the culture and I understand some of the behaviors and things like that that are involved with it. Growing up, I would have a Persian culture engulfed in me. Then when I went outside to the outside world, I would have a Western culture influence on me. So I think it's this mix of cultures. It's almost like that have really kind of come through to my music. If it wasn't for that blend of cultures, I don't think my music would be what it is today. I think it would have taken a different course. Whether it's better or worse, I can't say.